Hello and welcome back to Euphoria. In this series of videos we're looking at the process of designing and building a MOC, or my own creation, for my LEGO city. In this case it's going to be a small building on a 16 by 32 stud base plate, which makes it a half modular, but in this case it's built on a corner. Now, we already started the build of this MOC in a previous video, so in this one we're going to just carry on with the build from where we left off last time. In the first part of the build we built the base plate, pavement and the foundation for the building, with the ground floor containing a shop and the Corner Deli, and the entrance to the apartment, which is going to be on the first and second floors of the building. Now we're going to carry on with the build and build the rest of the MOC. Now we can start on the first floor. The first floor of the building will make the lower part of the apartment, containing the living room and kitchen. This will sit over both of the shops on the ground floor and be accessed by the staircase from the front door that we built at ground level. It's a separate module, and so rather than building up from the build of the ground floor, we make a separate part of the build for this module, starting with a floor plate. The floor plate is built using 2 layers of plates in the normal way that I've used for my other MOCs, although this one will be considerably smaller than some of them. If you remember, we designed this with an overhang over the front of the shop, and this will not only provide more space in the interior, but will also provide some variety to the facade of the building. And as usual, there's a strategically placed hole to allow access via the staircase from the floor below. It is a bit unusual because there's only one plate at this end, and that's to allow the snot bricks that will go at this end to support the Deli signboard in the right position. Now we can start building up the walls of the apartment round the edge of this floor plate. Again, before the walls get too high, we can start putting in some of the furniture and details for the living space, such as the TV cabinet and TV, and we can add the other things we included in the design for the living room, such as a sofa in rather dull colours, a standard lamp and a small cabinet with a nice vase of flowers to add a bit of colour. At the other end of the apartment is a small kitchen diner. The kitchen area has a sink, a stove and a couple of cupboards, and there's a small dining table and a couple of chairs. Okay. Now we can build up the rest of the walls. And add the windows. Including the black windows with the nice bright white surrounds for the red building. Next we can add the staircase and the banister rail. The staircase is just one of those standard staircase pieces with a extra brick at the bottom, and it attaches to the wall just using a couple of studs, and that attaches it pretty firmly. The walls are finished off with a tiling separation layer using flat tiles and tiles with a couple of studs in the same way as the tiling separation layer on the ground floor. Lastly, we just finished the details of the exterior of the building. We already added the air conditioning unit as part of building the walls, but now we can add the downpipe and the stickered tiles with the signboards for the deli that's on the ground floor. Not forgetting the Deli sign that attaches to the side of the building. So that's the build of the first floor module complete. I suppose we ought to check that it fits onto the ground floor module in the way it was designed to. It should just line up and clip on. Yes, that fits on as it was designed to do. I think that's looking pretty good so far. The idea of two smaller buildings looks like it's working. The shop and the deli have their own identities, and the signboards complete the look of the deli really well. Now we can move on to build the second floor. The second floor of the building will make the upper part of the apartment, containing the bedroom and the bathroom. This is also a separate module, and so again we'll make a separate part of the build for this module, starting with the floor plate. The floor plate is very similar to the one we built before. It's built as one piece, but in two colours, which are there to maintain the illusion that this is two small buildings backing on to each other. This one has a slightly different shape from the one on the floor below, because there'll be a balcony out from the bedroom, and this has to be included in the shape of the floor plate. Again, there's a hole to allow access via the staircase from the floor below. The external walls are built up in the same way as on the first floor, except that on this second floor there are also going to be some internal walls for a bathroom in this corner. Now it's going to be a tiny bathroom, but fitting it into this corner was the only way I could fit it into this level of the apartment without blocking any of the external windows and still leaving space for the bedroom. The walls for the little bathroom are just made using frames. One, of course, for the bathroom door, and the other one using a grey panel instead of a transparent window. The bed, the bedside tables and the bedroom furniture are again kept fairly small and simple because there's not an awful lot of room here in this bedroom. The windows are added in the same way, except that on this level there's a door from the bedroom to access the balcony. So perhaps we ought to deal with the balcony next. It's just made with a couple of fence pieces and a window frame for the end. And even for a city building it's pretty narrow, although there is room for a minifig to stand there and enjoy a bit of fresh air. I suppose it would be possible to extend this base plate out a bit to make it a bit wider if we wanted to. Maybe that's worth considering for a future update for this building. Let me know what you think. Then we can add the staircase on the inside and the air conditioner on the outside, and finish off the rest of the walls. Then it's just a matter of adding the tiling separation layer and the downpipe to the outside, again the same as the floor below. And that's the second floor module finished. Again, we'd better check that it fits onto the first floor module properly, which it does. So now the building's really coming on, and we can start to see what it's going to look like when it's a completed building. So to finish the building off, we need to build the roof and then the roof garden. The roof is going to be a flat roof, and it starts off with a floor plate a bit like the ones we had for the floors below. The roof will have a parapet round the outside to stop minifigures falling off. The left-hand part will form the roof of the yellow building with an overhang at the front, and the right-hand part will form the roof for the red building. Although it may appear to be two roofs, it's all made in one piece, and the whole of the top of the roof will be accessible from the upper floor of the apartment via the staircase through this hole. Here I'm completing the parapet for the roof. I'm using some Technic bricks connected by a Technic pin to keep the two parts connected, while maintaining the colour separation between the grey and white parts of the roof. The parapet for the deli part of the roof includes the decorative cornice for the red building, which provides a good contrast with the dark red walls and lets us use the wheel arch pieces from the police car in the original set. Now we need to build up the door assembly that's going to close up the hole in the roof. It's a normal door frame and door with the addition of some brackets and plates, but it's going to sit horizontally rather than vertically. So here it is, fitted to the roof. I'm not completely happy with this arrangement, but the door does open upwards and the frame is pretty much flush with the floor plate that makes up the floor of the roof, both on the top and on the bottom. So that's the roof itself built. Now we can start adding all the details that will make up the roof garden. To top off this mock, we're going to add a rooftop garden. This will be a nice place for the residents of the apartment to relax, get some fresh air and see a bit of greenery and colour. Now it's usually quite sunny here in Euphoria, so we'll add a pergola to the roof garden, which incorporates a seat and provides some shade. This is made in a similar way to the one in the Creator 3-in-1 set, 31097, which uses flat tiles inserted edgeways into some clips. This obviously isn't an illegal technique, as it worked in that set, so we're going to use it again here. Now we'll add some plants. I'm making a square planter from a snot brick and some plates to hold a small tree. The rest of the plants will be held in containers or plant pots kept on the roof, where they'll unfortunately need regular watering. I think there should be a way of watering all these plants, so I'm going to add a tap. That wasn't in the design, but I think it's needed. At least it's easy to change the plants or move the pots around on the roof space. There's a few different plant types and sizes to provide interest and colour to the roof garden. I'm also wondering if this roof garden or terrace needs something else, like a sun lounger or maybe a little rooftop bar. Let me know what you think in the comments below. So now we've finished the roof module and we can add it to the rest of the building. And so that's the build of this MOC completed. I'm very pleased with this build, as it's all gone together pretty much the way it was designed. I did make one or two small modifications and adjustments during the build, such as changing the colour of these frames for ones that I found and adding minifigs, but it still turned out true to the original concept for the MOC. It's clearly a city building with two small shops or bodegas on the ground floor and an apartment on the floors above with a roof terrace on the roof. This is only a half modular, and yet as you look at the building from the side or the front, depending on which way you position the building, it looks like two smaller buildings, with the yellow building with the shop on the left and the red building with the deli on the right. And there's lots of details on the exterior of the building to make it an interesting looking build. I felt like I took a bit of a chance in the design of the decorative architrave above the red building, but I think that worked out and adds rather well to the character of the building. If you would like to see how we designed this MOC and all the considerations that went into its design, then you're welcome to go back to look at the previous videos in this series. And do let me know what you think of the design and build of this MOC in the comments below. All that now remains, really, for this MOC is to find a place for it in my little LEGO city of Harmonia. There are a few options for the position of this building, but I'll have to consider those in the next video in this series. So look out for that next video in this series, in which I'll be placing the building in the LEGO city. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this build, so please hit that like button if you did. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so that you don't miss out on any updates on LEGO sets, modular buildings, my own designs and builds, updates on my LEGO city, and other LEGO related content.